Still to come today, a movie theater chain is a new player in the streaming wars.
Cashing in with conversation. The WBBM Noon Business Hour continues.
Martin Scorsese's gangster epic, The Irishman, was viewed by more than 26 million accounts during its first week on Netflix. That comes as the largest movie theater chain in the world, AMC, enters the fray. Let's get an update on the streaming wars. Tim Hanlon is joining us, founder and CEO of the Vertere Group, based here in Chicago. Tim, let's begin with this movie, The Irishman. There was back and forth. Netflix wanted it in studios long enough for it to be considered for an Oscar. I'm wondering if there'll be a point where Netflix takes some of its original content, leaves it in theaters, and maybe makes some money off of people going to the theater to see it. Does that end up maybe someday being part of their business model?
Well, it's certainly a possibility, Cisco, because the reality is that Netflix is obviously, the king of in-home viewing, especially now around theatricals, which they spent a lot of time trying to, shall we say, push on the windows of distribution, where they have to balance basically the in-theater experience with that of a massive one button away audience that's available on every screen in the country, on television sets at homes. And I think the reality is that there is a balance there. But I think it's also a testament to the fact that, the idea of going to movies and sitting in a movie theater and the cost associated with that and the relative inelegance of that versus the creature comforts of your own home, it's really kind of a challenge, frankly, to sort of present in that sort of way. So the idea is really protecting margins for that presentation. I think, frankly, movie theaters look more towards ingratiating themselves more quickly into the in-home experience versus a Netflix going outbound into the theater.
And is that where you have AMC now announcing it's going to get into the streaming market?
Yeah, and we've kind of hinted at this before, but I think everybody wants to find a better balance, shall we say, to how a movie is presented physically in a movie theater environment, especially in a big screen, great sound, in a communal kind of way, which a lot of movies, frankly, should be watched and consumed that way. But also be cognizant of the fact that increasingly most people enjoy the convenience and expect the convenience of not having to get in their car and drive to a movie theater and wanting to watch it, frankly, closer to their home without having to wait 2 months after it runs out of theaters.
Netflix, some are suggesting, may need to start running ads in order to make some money and hang on to some subscribers. Obviously, they've been resistant to that so far.
So we've talked about this on previous shows, of course, and there was an analyst who came out yesterday on Wall Street who said, that there probably needs to be some type of a lower cost tier, at least in Netflix, is future to, in essence, battle against all these other streaming services that we've talked about that are battling for mind share and consumer opportunities, but frankly also the price issue, right? The consumers can only afford so many direct-to-consumer subscription situations. And as I've said for at least 2 years now, Netflix absolutely, like every subscription service out there, and there are tons of them, a lot of niches, have to think about how advertising can help subsidize the cost of those services. And I think a lot of consumers would be interested if that were available.
Yeah, especially if it was maybe a cheaper price, for sure. Thank you. Always good insight. Tim Hanlon, founder and CEO of the Vertere Group here in